Hey everybody. This recording will cover the next couple of assignments that we have coming up. Yesterday I posted the content available so far, and that includes a video here that I posted. And then in the Getting Started module, I posted a video how to submit affirmation page and other assignments, just in case you have questions. And then here is a video about the affirmation page and the intro flip grid post. And yes, the flip grid assignment was not in the syllabus because apparently I just forgot to put it in there. So I did want to make sure that I posted a little recording about that. So both the affirmation page and the flip grid post are due September 3rd, ideally, especially the affirmation page. That one must be in by September 3rd. The flip grid, as I mentioned, I'll give you a little extra time, if you need it for any reason, just because that was my mistake that I forgot to put it in the syllabus. Okay, and those are under the Getting Started affirmation page and Intro to Flipgrid post. Okay, so I want to cover this video. We'll cover the podcast questions and your first case study activity. Okay, so class is open. So on the 3rd, we have the affirmation form, right, which the video is already posted, and the Flipgrid post in an ideal world. Again, if you need a few extra days for the Flipgrid, that's fine. But then also the podcast questions are due on the 3rd, and then your first case study is due on the 10th, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So remember, the first case study right here, I'm going to show you a choice of 3, and you will choose 1. Okay, we have our friend Thomas. He is not due until September 24th, and the formatting for him, the formatting of his case study is kind of a mess, like the actual physical formatting of him. So I will do a separate video just for Thomas. Okay, you might also notice that I opened some new tabs over here. So, and who knows, maybe you haven't watched the intro videos yet, so you'll be like, well, they're not new to me, which is fine. So currently what you can see, the Getting Started tab, which again is the syllabus review videos, calendar of due dates, a little additional information that you may or may not need, and then the Getting Started affirmation page, intro Flipgrid post, okay, and then a video about how to submit the affirmation page and other assignments, and then a video that discusses specifically the affirmation page and the intro Flipgrid post. Okay, but there are also a couple new tabs. There's one called Assignments Fall 2021, and there's one called Content Fall 2021. Okay, that one I'll get to in just a second. Actually, you know what? You don't even really need the content tab right now. So all that's under here is something from Dr. Nixon's class, but you don't really need this tab until we get to the Thomas case study. So really just don't even pay attention to this content one. All right, so under the assignments tab, there is now a folder for podcast, and then there's a folder for the case studies. So let me talk about the podcast first. So all you will do, you'll click right here. And under this folder, there are 5 different podcasts, okay? So what is an IEP? Universal Design for Learning, Introduction to Transition, Differentiated Instruction Part 2, and Differentiated Instruction Part 3. You will not do Differentiated Instruction Part 1. So all you're going to do, you're going to click on it, and then what you'll do, you'll make sure to click this little triangle. That's how it plays, okay? I'm not going to actually play it because you can never hear the sound and it ends up just being kind of a mess. But so you will click right there. So what is an IEP, right? So that's your first one, Universal Design for Learning. It'll take you right to the podcast that I want you to watch. You will click right there, okay? Then the next one, Intro to Transition. You will click right here. Again, make sure you click this little triangle, and then of course you can certainly full screen it if you so choose. So just remember to click the little triangle. That's the play button. Okay, and then differentiated instruction part 2. So they call it enhancing instruction through differentiated instruction part 2. I just kind of cut it down a little bit. Again, click play. And then the 5th one, differentiated instruction part 3. So you'll just, again, click on the play button. As you are watching these, there are some questions that I want you to answer. And what I would recommend, honestly, is opening the questions, on one side of your screen, doing a split screen, have the questions over here and the podcast over here, or whatever, of course. Oh, my computer just broke. That's all right. The keyboard just fell. It's always something, y'all. So you will click right here. Remember, again, that's how you open the document that you want to type into. So here are the questions. So and they are the exact same questions that are in the podcast. In the podcast, he will say at some points, pause the video here and answer the following questions in your notes or your head. So you're going to actually answer the questions here on this document, right? So you're just going to type in who are the required members of an IEP team? What are the required parts? At what age does transition services need to be included? Universal design for learning. Make sure you're paying attention. Describe, so not just name each of the 3 principles of UDL, describe them a little bit. Tell me what those principles mean in, real, like real world terms, okay? And then provide an example of each. And then your introduction to transition. This one has a couple of parts, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, so you're going to answer all those questions. And again, he does them throughout the podcast. So I would just honestly split screen, get to the question, and then answer. And if you need to go back and watch a little section of the podcast, it'll be a little more manageable than waiting until the very end. And then differentiate instruction part 2. So again, do not do part 1. I mean, you're welcome to watch it if you want, but you don't have to answer any questions about it. And he references some handouts. You don't have any handouts. I don't have the handouts. We don't have the handouts. So I just want you to think about what he talks about in the podcast, okay? And then differentiate instruction part 3, how can you organize the physical space of your classroom? So I want you to think about the podcast along with your own ideas and experiences. Some of you are currently in classrooms. Some of you have had a lot of classroom experience or counseling experiences or this experience. So use your own experiences and your own ideas to answer this question. All right, so that's the podcast questions. Okay, again, you'll just type them right here as a Word document, and then you will, remember, click here to upload that. It is due Friday, September 3rd. All right, so that's the podcast questions. Again, you can find it right here under the assignments tab, fall of 2021. And now let's talk about the case studies. So in this case study folder, there are 4 case studies. We're going to focus only on the first 3 right now, Donald, Gabrielle, and Jose. And I do have a friend whose name is Josue, so sometimes I go back and forth. I'm not even going to lie. So if I say Josue, just know I mean Jose. You will choose one of the 3 of these, all right? So you will just choose one, either Donald, Gabrielle, or Jose, okay? We're not going to talk about Thomas right now, okay? That's not due until September 24th, so I will get back to Thomas. So don't worry about Thomas right now. We're just going to look at these other 3. For this assignment, you can work individually, you can work with a partner, you can work with a small group, whatever floats your boat. If you work with others, only one person, okay? So let's say it's me and I work with my friends Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy. Only one of the 4 of us needs to submit the assignment, and just make sure to put everybody's names on there, okay? So you could say, oh, this was submitted by me, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, and Goofy, okay? But only one of you needs to submit. All right, and just make sure to include everyone's names. All right, so let's go to look at Donald, Gabrielle, and Jose. So you're gonna click here. Okay, and I just tried to do something to help y'all out. You know what, I'm even gonna move this recording. So Thomas does exist below there, but we're not gonna look at him right now, so I'm gonna cut him out of the recording. Do not worry about Thomas right now. All right, so we have Donald, Gabrielle, I know I changed their names, and Jose. You will choose one of these, all right, just one. For each case study, I tried to help y'all out, and I may have outsmarted myself. We'll see how that goes. So you'll notice I have the case study as a PDF, and then I have the case study as a Word doc. All right, the Word doc you can type right into it. So I had everything as PDFs, okay? So let me just show you Donald. Here's Donald's case study as a PDF, okay? I know it gets cut off a little bit, that's okay. And then I had to, you know how when you're making copies of like a book, you have to put like a blank piece of paper. Well, I apparently did not use a blank piece of paper. So just disregard all the stuff on the outside, okay? That doesn't mean anything to you. So here's a case study about Donald, okay? And then here are the questions. For Donald, Gabrielle, and Jose, you will answer for whichever one case study you choose, right? You will answer all the questions except for the one that says activity. You will not answer this question that says activity. So trying to be helpful to you all, how do I get back to it? Okay, sorry, there's a lot happening. Trying to be helpful to you all, I said, well, let me see if I can convert it from a PDF into a Word document. So that's what I did for Donald, Gabrielle, and Jose, all right? So let me show you Donald as a Word document. So herein lies the problem, right? You know how sometimes when you can convert from a PDF to a Word doc, there's all sorts of little weird things, right? So that's what happened with this one. But, and this one, for some reason, Donald messed up a little bit right here. The other ones did not do this, but Donald did. So you may want to, for Donald, you may want to look at the PDF, again, they're exact same case studies, excuse me, and then just type your answers right down here in the Word document, okay? So again, I was trying to make it easier for you all. So like right here, you can type your answer, right? In a PDF, you can't actually type your answers. So that's why I converted them. You will only need to submit one set of answers, right? So let me not save this. Okay. So again, I don't end up confusing y'all by doing this, but again, I was trying to be helpful. All right. So Donald, case study PDF, Donald, case study Word document. Exact same case study, right? Exact same words. Gabrielle, case study PDF, case study Word. Exactly the same, right? Exactly. And then Jose, PDF, doc, Word doc, right? Exactly the same. So that's why I said for all of them, the case studies are the exact same, meaning right here, this PDF and the doc, same. PDF, doc, same. PDF, doc, same. Oh, okay. So one is in a Word document, so you can, again, type your answers right into that document. So let me show you Gabrielle, because in hers, it didn't do any of that weird, remember you might have to click on enable editing. And I did spell check. I did try to get rid of all these blue and red things. So if this bothers you, this formatting, just use the PDF and type your answers in a Word document that you create, okay? I did remove in the Word document, I removed question 8 that says activity because you will not do, or whatever, excuse me, whatever the final question is that says activity, because you will not need to do that. But in the PDF, so that's, I guess, the only difference between the PDF and the Word doc. In the PDF, the activity question is still there. But for these three, remember Donald, Gabrielle, Jose, you're only going to choose one and you will not do the activity. Okay, you will answer every other question. So again, I was trying to make it easier, for you, so you could type your answers right into the Word document if you want to. But I know the formatting might bother you so much, and you might say, forget it, I'm just going to go into the PDF and make my own document, which is absolutely 100% fine. If you do if you go from the PDF, just make sure you put the name of the case study, Donald, Gabrielle, or Jose, and then also at least number the questions, okay? It would be helpful, I was going to say handy, and then I changed it to helpful. It would be helpful if you could include the questions, but you don't have to, right? So if you're answering from the PDF, because that formatting makes more sense to you because it's cleaner and there's no little weird symbols, I totally understand. Again, just make sure to put the name of the case study, any group members that you might work with, and then at least number the questions for me. All right, so real quick, here's Jose, because I'm about to run out of time, as per always. So here's Jose. Again, just disregard all this on the side. I apologize about that. And then here's the questions. So for Jose, you will do numbers 1 through 8. Okay, you will not do the activity. So let me show you from the Word document of Jose. Like I said, I cut off the activity question. All right, so again, weird little things that come up first. All this, I know. So this might drive you crazy. I totally understand. Some of you might say, oh, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. Okay, and then you can type your answers right here. And again, working from the Word document, that activity question is not here. All right, so it might be confusing. I hope it's, oh, nope, Thomas, we don't want to see you right now. I hope it's not confusing. I hope it was helpful as opposed to harmful or hurtful. So remember, what's coming up. We have let me see if I can find the calendar. We have the affirmation form and your Flipgrid post on the 3rd, your podcast questions, which I just showed you, and then your one case study, okay, Thomas, Gabrielle, or Jose. Okay, so remember, you will find that under the assignments. So remember, under the getting started, this is where your affirmation page and your intro Flipgrid, and this, if you click right here, it'll link you right to the Flipgrid. And again, remember, you need to log in with your g.fmarion.edu. And then under the assignments tab, that is where you'll find the podcast folder and the assignment right here. And then under the case studies, you will find the case studies, Donald, Gabrielle, Jose. You will choose one and you will submit, either here, click here to submit Jose, here for Gabrielle, and here for Donald. Don't worry about Thomas yet. I will do another recording about him. And again, the podcasts are due September 3rd and the case study is due September 10th. All right, I know that was a lot, but hopefully it was helpful, and I will talk to y'all soon.